This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so today is day 9. We will see something called scripts background. When you type scripts over here like this, script space background. So what is this? This is a text area. So ServiceNow gives us a temporary area where we can test certain scripts. JavaScript, ServiceNow script, anything we can test here. A temporary area where we can do some testing. For example, if some function is not executing in my business rule, I have a doubt that that function has some problem. I can test it separately over here. Correct, a kind of modular testing. If I have a doubt in my code for few lines, I can put that code over here. I can test it, right? Just to make sure that part of script works fine. So, example, I will do like gs dot add. We already know now, right? Info message we write in the business rule. This is just to show you an example how do we test. gs dot add info message. Hi, run script. This will show the result. See, background message. Hi, scope global. I'll go back there. Okay, gs dot. We will do something like where variable where v1 equal to something Pankaj. Okay, semicolon where v2 equal to anything last name. All right, and now gs dot add info message, concatenate the two strings v1 plus v2. Cool. I want to test this string concatenation. So let's see the result. Yes, we want a space in between. Let's format it. Plus, add some space. Let's see if it works. And yes, it does work. See, right? So this is how we test the script from script background. Okay, we select the scope over here. Okay, and then we test it. See, this is the result. Now, the actual real use of this. In real time scenario, you won't be doing this. You will be testing something real time, some script include or something. Okay, now coming to the next topic, why I talked about this, because I want to show you what is script include. Script include is a kind of library that contains a number of functions. Again, script include is a kind of library that contains a number of functions. At any point of time, we can use these reusable functions in our server-side script or client script. Okay. Script include can be of two types. It can be client callable. It can be server only. In that case, if it is a server-side script, it will only execute at server end. We cannot execute that script from client script. We can execute it only from business rule or any other feature where we have written the server-side script. Like in a scheduled job, we write a server-side script. In that, we can call the script include, we give its name and the function that we want to call. In business rule, same. We create a new object of the script include, like we create in Java, class object, and then dot function name. So let us see an example. We will see a couple of example of script include. Okay, like the first example, let us say string validation. When I call the function, the input string should match, it should meet the length validation. If it is 5, the string value should not be greater than 5 or it will throw an error. How to do this? Okay, now this is script background. Okay, keep this aside. Now I will duplicate this session. Control C, come here. Let us open a new here and drag it here as the second tab. Control V. It's pretty simple, but concentrate, otherwise it will be difficult for you to understand. If you people know how we do it in C, C++, Java, it will be easy for you to understand. Though I'm going to explain in detail, okay, so don't worry, even if you haven't gone through C, C++, Java, anything, you will be able to understand. I'll make you understand. So, script include. Script includes. System definition, script includes. Click. Okay. Sometime back I created this, but we are going to create our name, so don't worry. Okay. Control A, Control C. Come to script include. Over here. System definition, script include. We are going to create a new script include like this. The name, let it be underscore validate length. This is the name. This library, see, as soon as I moved away my cursor, this prototype has been generated. Correct? So, what did I do? I copied this. This is already generated. Copy this function. I'll show you how to place the things. Between this, we have to write our code. Between this, we have to write our code. This is the function. It ends over here. This is the prototype. And here it ends. Do we have a similar thing over here? Yes. Okay. And it ends like this. This ends over here. Okay. And what else? See, type. There is just one line. Type and script include name, which we already have. Now it looks simpler. When I clicked on create new script include, it displayed the prototype. This. When did it display? When I gave the name. When I typed the name, I moved away my cursor, it generated this. And it contains the same name. See? Based on this, when I moved away my cursor, it generated this kind of prototype. Ignore that. We don't have to do anything with that. That's a skeleton. This also comes under skeleton. So what do we have to do? We have to put functions. This is a function inside my script include. Which script include? Under this script include or inside my script include, I have a function named validate length. At any point of time from a business rule or any server-side script, I can invoke this script include dot the function name, and I will pass the parameters from there. What would be the parameters? Field name, whatever it is, first name, last name in the business rule, and the allowed number of characters. If it is 5 passed from there, so the length of this should not exceed 5. If this is 10, the length of the string should not exceed 10. This is the qualifier that checks if this string has length greater than this or not. Now, what does it have? A temporary variable called result, in which we store valid by default. Assign it a dummy value called valid in the beginning. Now, another variable, required length, is equal to field length. Whatever, if it is 5 over here, then this 5 will be copied over here. Right hand side store to left hand side. This will contain 5. If we have passed 5 over here, this will contain 5. Actual length equal to field name dot length means, what does this line mean? Dot length is JavaScript property. Okay, JavaScript property, it returns the length of the field. But length of which field? That's the reason I am telling the system, calculate field name dot length, store it over here, left hand side. Okay. Then after finding out the length, after this line, we will have the length handy for this field. If I had typed Pankaj, it will contain 6, the actual length of this field. Now, if that actual length is greater than required length is something we have set. It is this. So if 6 is greater than 5, yes, 6 is greater than 5, then set the result as invalid, because as per our scenario, it should not be greater than 5. At the max, it can be equal to 5, less than 5, but it should not exceed 5. That's the reason it will go inside, because this condition will meet. 6 is greater than 5. Why? Because I have typed Pankaj in this field. And here it is 5. So it became invalid. And then I am returning the result to the calling function, for the calling server-side script, the script that had invoked this function. I am returning this result, valid or invalid, to it. Now, other way around. Suppose here it is Raj, R-H-A Raj, 3 characters. It is 5 over here. Result equal to valid, executed. This variable will contain a string called valid. Required length equal to field length, means this 5. 5 is stored in this, valid is stored in this. Actual length equal to field name dot length, that is this dot name. So this contains Raj. Dot length 3. 3 will be stored in this. Is 3 greater than 5? No. So don't execute this. Execute the next line. return result. But in that case, what is the result? The default string, that is valid, and valid will be passed to the server-side script that has invoked this function. This is how it works, a simple function to calculate the length. I want to test my script include. First, I will have to submit it. I haven't yet submitted. So let us submit. Submit. Okay. My script include is ready. My script include name is this. My function is this. I may put more than one function in my script. In that case, this block will repeat. This block, a similar block will be present over here. One more function. I can add n number of functions like this. And at the end, it should be like this. Okay. Similar to this. What does it have? This is one of the function. This is the script include, find length. This is one of the function over. See, second function is also there. This is, you won't understand this. So just I'm telling, this is one of the function that does something, encryption or something. And this is how it ends. There could have been one more. If we want, we can add as per our requirement, as per our need. Okay, now we have submitted this. Yeah, remove this, delete, looks good, and save. I want to test my script include. What is the way? Before even using it in my business rule or my scheduled script or any kind of server side script, I want to make sure independently that module or not module, that function works fine. For that, we have script include, sorry, script background, which I showed you in the beginning. Scripts background, the area where we can do testing. We can test our script. To test it, we will have to create an object of this script include. Copy. Or let us do one thing. How do we call it? We must be having something over here. Cool. Validate length. Nice. Control C. Where is that area? Control V. Okay. Now, variable, this can be Pankaj as well, any temporary variable, equal to new. Script includes name dot its function name and the parameters. Call the script includes this function. Which script include? This script include. So here we will have to replace our script include and our function name. Okay. This is some old script include that I created. That's the reason you see like this. So I will have to edit this. Copy the script include name, right click, copy, paste, control V, parenthesis. This is the format. This is the syntax. Script includes name and what function to call under this script include. Let us check what is the name over here. Validate length. Control C, Control C, and is it same? Then also let us replace Control V. Okay, and we know here we have to pass the test parameter. So it can be, if I pass it as Pankaj, and if I say that the length of the string cannot exceed 10, this string, the length of this string cannot exceed 10. This is the validator. Okay. When I invoke this, it will call the script includes this function, this validate filler function. Whatever valid invalid string is returned in the result will be stored in this. So if this fails, this will have invalid. So the result from right hand side will be stored to the left hand side variable. And then we know how to print gs.info. Correct. gs.info, print the result. All right. Let us call this valid. Why? Because Pankaj is 6 characters and the allowed characters is 10. So in that case, let us write something long, space, white space character, Jadoo. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Exceeds 10. Run. Invalid. Right? Because 12 is greater than 10 and we have allowed the maximum length as 10. Now I can change this as well. 20. This should not be greater than 20. Now this string is valid because how much it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 is less than 20, so this string should be valid. Valid. Correct. This is how we test our script before we put it in our business rule. Now I showed you what is script's background. It's an area to test our scripts, not just script include. It can be anything, calculation or something if we want to test, right? It can be a script include or anything, any server side script, server side script, okay, not client side. So, shall we? Okay. Any confusion? Anyone didn't understand this? Ask me. Because we are going to see one more example of prefix validation. Who didn't understand this? Not this. Ours is scripts include. Script include. Click on all. I told you, script include, you may find it at 2-3 places. Click anyone and click on all. Okay. Swapnil validate length is our script include. Who didn't understand this? Simple script. Prototype, function name, script include ends. This line marks the end of the script include. If you see, this matches the script include name. In between, there can be hundreds of functions. Correct? We use script include to write reusable functions. Reusable functions. I may have written this directly, this code, I could have written this in the business rule itself. Why there is a need to create this and all. I could have validated the length. But imagine what ServiceNow best practices suggest. We should have a modular approach while doing the scripts. Modular approach. If today I create a business rule, I have to do many things inside it. One of the tasks is to validate the string length. I can write it in the business rule. But tomorrow I have to create one more business rule. I have to do similar kind of validation. I'll write the same code over there. Isn't that redundant? Rather, I would create a script include and a function inside it and can use a number of times. I can give a call to that function using the invoking line, this line from my business rule. So there can be a number of business rules having the same line, different parameters, anything, correct? And it can give the result. So to follow a modular approach, we use script include to reuse the code, to give a solution to something which is redundant in our server-side script, right? To make it more readable, make it appear more modular, right? We do it using script include. So if there is a server-side code that has to do much with length validation, prefix validation. For prefix validation in the business rule, you have written 4 to 5 lines. For string length validation, you have written 5 to 6 lines. And then if you convert it to script include those logic, then hardly the business rule will have 4 to 5 lines. And that would look nice. Tomorrow, if someone else takes over the charge, once you leave the company, someone else comes, that person will be able to understand what is the code, what it is doing. Correct, there won't be a mess in the code. That's the reason we recommend developers to use script include. Okay, a kind of reusable code. Fine, let's see one more example. If anyone didn't understand, please ask. You may interrupt me in between if you haven't understood this. Okay, now this was about this. Okay, do we have any other example? Script includes. We must be having something like validation. Let me check. Prefix or something. Prefix. Okay, no problem. Let us create one. Script includes new. Give a name. Swapnil prefix validation. Okay. As soon as I move over my cursor, I'll get this. In between, I'm free to write n number of functions. Okay. So now, prefix validation. Nice. We have a function. I'll explain you each line. It ends like this. Prefix validation. We just want the function. Function is this. Always end your function with a comma. Like this. Control V. This is our function. This much. These are comments. This line ignore. These two. Okay. Let us change the name. Or let it be like this. Okay. Item prefix check. Parameter item code. Example PR001, PR002, PR003. What prefix does it have? PR. If someone puts the item code like PKJ001, PKJ002, that doesn't start with PR, in that case, that should throw an error. How does it start? This is my script include. This is my function inside the script include. What argument does it contain? Item code. That means someone can invoke this function passing the item code to validate it, whether if it has a valid prefix, a required prefix in the sense. Okay. Where result equal to true. We are assigning true to this temporary variable. Now this selected variable contains a value called true. Okay. Where extract prefix. This can be anything. Pankaj, Swapnil, Kalyani. This variable can also be anything. Whenever I write where and the variable, that means it is not any kind of keyword. Your choice. You may give any name to such variables. They are just temporary variables to hold value assigned by right hand side code. This. From here it goes to here. Okay. Now, what does it do? Item code means this. If this is PR0001, then it will say this variable dot substring 03 JavaScript function. Ready-made function we can use, right, in our script. What does it do? Substring function, when called like this, item code dot substring 03. That means PR0001 is there in this, then extract the first three characters of this variable, the value contained in this variable. Extract first three characters of the value contained in this item code. So if it is PR0001, so this will return PR0. Okay. What does this do? Now we have the prefix stored over here. Extracted string को तोड़ के पहले तीन characters निकाल के. Okay. Substring. Extract a portion of a string. Start from 0th character of that string. Extract exactly three characters. Why? Because I want to check in my scenario, in my code, if the first three characters of the string is PR0 or not. Or as per our scenario, it should be ITM. ITM001 means item 001. ITM0002. That's the reason I am extracting first three characters, start from 0, extract three characters from the value contained in this variable, which is ITM. It may be ITM, it may not be ITM. Okay, store the prefix over here, those three characters. Now, convert it to lowercase. Now, does it match ITM? Because I want to I want to accept only those items that start with ITM, like ITM0001, ITM0002, and so on. Okay, so now result equal to false. Why? Because there is an exclamation over here. That means if the prefix doesn't match, make the result false. If the extracted prefix doesn't match ITM, make the result false. Okay, now If it is already ITM, it is matching. This will not execute this condition. This condition will not execute. Therefore, its block will not execute. So this whole thing will not execute. This line will execute return result. In that case, it is true. True will be written if it is ITM. So let's check. After this, once we check this, you will be more confident about this. You will understand what I'm trying to say. Let us save this. So software prefix, item prefix check, lowercase this, that. Let us check. I'm submitting this. Submitted. Okay. Copy. We will go to scripts background to test this. Okay. This is the name. How do we call it? We create an object and dot function name like this and print the result. Control C, Control V. Now replace our replace the old script include name with our name. Control V, parenthesis. Okay. This is also not correct. Ours is item check and one parameter. Control C, Control V, and a single parameter. ITM0001. Done. And validate str is over here. Cool. So invoke this function which is present inside this script include, pass ITM001 in it, validate whether ITM0001 has a valid prefix or not. On what basis we are deciding whether it is valid or not? We have hard coded ITM over here. We are validating the incoming string against this. This is valid. Whatever first three characters are should match this is what we are checking over here. So now delete this, pull it up. Okay, now let's try to invoke. False. Why? Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Software prefix and 0001. Validate this. If it starts with ITM 0001, then give true or false, and accordingly, fine. Now let us check this. Why it is given like that? Okay. If I comment out this, will not convert it to lowercase and will directly do like this. Control C. That means the extracted string, the first three characters are not matching ITM. In that case, return false. Let us do some troubleshooting. Let us do. If it doesn't work, we will make it work. Okay. And it worked. Going back, I will give some incorrect prefix like anything. and if I false, because it doesn't start with ITM. So let me make the code correct. These are redundant lines. Remove them. I might have done this in the past to do some kind of testing. Okay. So those lines removed. Now it looks even more simpler. See, again, revisit. This function called with this value. Take a temporary variable assigned true to this result variable. This contains true currently. Then item code this variable. This argument is what I'm referring to over here. This argument is what I'm referring. So whatever is contained in this variable, extract first three characters of that string. So if it is ITM or PR anything, extract, we don't know what is it. Incoming string may contain anything. It can even contain Pankaj. We want to extract first three characters. I use this function and then store those three characters in this variable. Extract first three characters, right hand side job. Assign it to this. So if I enter ITM005, this will contain ITM. Does this variable match ITM? Is ITM equal to ITM? Yes. Okay, I have written exclamation. If I delete this, what is the meaning of this now? Does this ITM match this? Yes. But our logic says reverse it. Now, if they don't match, then invalid. Otherwise, this. Not otherwise. This is going to return the result. Only if they don't match, it will set it to false. And then whatever true or false is present in result variable will be returned to the calling party. Calling party can be any kind of server script written anywhere in a business rule, maybe UI action or a schedule script or script background. This is also server side script. We are calling this from here. Correct. If it doesn't go in this, that means result will contain what value? Initially assigned value. See, which is always true. Initially assigned value, which is always true. And accordingly, it is giving us the result. Let us do some testing. PR0001. False, because it doesn't follow our prefix, which is ITM. Correct. PRD false. So that means it will accept only those items where the prefix is ITM. True. Correct. That's how we test our script include from server side script. Server side script, we wrote it in our script background. We tested our script include. Now we are good to use it anywhere in the server side. Correct. So now, let us call this in a business rule. Let us create a scenario. Do we have anything like, let me first check. Let us go to Swapnil application, Swapnil inventories. Over here, product ID is auto-generated. So no point validating this. Okay. Hmm. Okay. On submit, if I write, it should validate and print the message. Okay. Summary. All right. Let us choose description, summary, or comment, something. Just to take an example, this description should always start with summary in caps. It should start like this. And then going ahead, one can type a summary. Or let it start with description, DESC. It should start always with DESC, and then it can be anything, any garbage, whatever description it is. Just I'm trying to create a scenario so that you understand the flow. DESC. So when I submit this record, it should check if the description starts with DESC. If no, forget about this. If you remember, we created something, display business rule example, and then we got the value pulled in, right, in the client script, and then it displayed the pop-up. Let me go there, otherwise it will keep on disturbing us. I will go here, client script, system definition, client script. What is the one we created? Scratchpad. Say this one. It is running and throwing the pop-up. Okay, one more thing. Why this is grayed out? I am not able to do on-cell edit. Can anyone answer? Kalyani, Swapnil, Lokesh. Usually when we do it allows us to modify. Here why it is happening like this? Vedika, any idea? Can you people hear me?
Yes, Pankaj, very well said.
So why this is grayed out? I am not able to change this. In our sessions when we do it allows, right? Today it is not allowing. Any idea? See, there is a reason behind this. We are not in the correct scope, I believe. Let us change the scope to Swapnil. The scope is Swapnil application. Let us switch over to Swapnil application. Now let us give a try. Now it is allowed because I was not in the right scope. Disabled. Good. Saved. Now it should not disturb us. It should not come in between. If I do something like, now it will not come. Okay. The use case is the description. If we create any record, any inventory record, the description should start with DESC. Otherwise, it won't save. It will throw an error. It will display the error in the banner. Then description should start with DESC. Okay. Now I'll create a business rule. System definition, business rule. See, this is only an example. There may be more than one way to achieve the same thing. But I want to make you understand in future, if you write any kind of complex code in the business rule, we have to use script include. Okay. so that the code looks modular. Okay. Validate description. This is the business rule written on submit inventory table. Now, before we submit the record, we want it to execute. That's the reason it is before insert, advanced. Add your code here. I don't know what is the code. Let us try to create variable. PKJDESC temporary variable equal to whatever user has typed in the record, current record, that is current dot get value of what field? What is the field name? Right click, description. Okay. Make sure you don't do a typo. Otherwise, it will not recognize the field. So now, by writing this line, I am telling whatever the user has typed in the record while submitting, save it in this temporary string, temporary variable. Now we have it. I want to validate this string, the value contained in this variable. I have to validate it. I will give a call to script include. How? Control V, validate field length, not this. That is not preserved. We lost it. Validation, prefix and all. Where is it? Validate prefix. Correlation prefix. Okay, let it be. Control C and Control V. Prefix check. Okay, fine, doesn't matter. We know how to do it. So what I will do, validate str equal to, what is my script include name? I'm sure this is not the one we created today, right? Not one of them. My script include is this. Lost. Okay, click on all. Then also I cannot see. Click on updated. That would make sure the recent ones stay at the top, and that's how we sorted them. Prefix validation. Okay, so I'll copy this. Control C, Control V, parenthesis. Okay, and the function inside it, that is this item check prefix. This could have been like summary prefix check. It could have been description prefix check. This is anything we give. If we give it inventory description check, then in the business rule, we have to give a call to that function. Okay, so don't get confused. Control V, and pass this, Control C and Control V. Cool. And then this will return the result. Now we don't want to print in the log. I want to print it in the banner. gs.add info message. Okay. If it has written true, Control C, Control V. If this has returned true, the validation, that means the string is valid. In that case, print gs dot add info message. Summary. What was that? What field we have considered? Description. Otherwise, print gs dot add info message, or let it be add error message. Makes sense. Description. Valid prefix. Makes sense. I don't know whether this will execute or not. If doesn't, we will have to troubleshoot. Okay. Again, revisit it. How does it start? When this business rule will run? When a person inserts a new record in this table, whenever a user creates a new record on this table, and before the record is going to be created on that table, before insert, run this script. Okay. And then in the script, whatever the person has typed in description field, store it in this variable stored. Then give a call to script include, which is my external script. I have not written the logic over here. It contains the logic externally. Pass whatever is written in the description field, pass it over here and validate it. Tell me if it is right or wrong, true or false. If validate string means if it is true, in that case, display description has a valid prefix, or print an error message. Okay. Save it. Done. Coming back to our script include. It is in global scope. Why? Because it was global selected over here when I did create script include. It was global selected in the drop down. That's why it picked up the scope as global. This field says that it can be executable from this scope only. So if there is a code written in some different application, like software application, it cannot call that script include. It cannot call that script include. So what to do? Let us see. We can allow it. First we will check if we do it like that, what error does it throw. I'm sure it will throw something in the logs. So let us try to run it. I'll open a third tab, close this one, Control C, and maybe here, Control V. Okay. Swapnil invent. Let us try to create a record. I click on new. Hang. Coming up. Yeah. Unit price. Anything. Okay. Description. Did we change our script include to have this description? No. Go to our script include. Where is it? See, we didn't change. It should be TESC colon. Now makes sense. Save it. All right. Is it saved? Check. It has gone slow. Coming up. Loading the. Okay. It has been saved. So now whatever comes in should start with DESC colon. All right. Just reload the form to make sure the changes are effective. Okay. Sample unit 577. Description TESC colon. Summary anything. Sample comments. It should throw something. At least I'm sure it won't validate. Let's see what error does it give. Nothing. In the logs, it must have print somewhere that cannot recognize this. Okay. It didn't print anything, see? Right? So even if I put incorrect value and then I submit it, this is our client script, so ignore it. Our script include is not working. Let us do one thing. Allow it to be run from different scopes, not just global application, all application scopes. Allow it to be run. Now let us give a try. If it doesn't work, we will troubleshoot it. If I submit this, undefined may be missing global qualifier. At least now we are triggering the script include, right? Undefined may be missing global qualifier. Let us check what is that. It is not able to recognize value undefined. Let us go there. Click here. Where we are wrong. Hmm. What if I remove underscore? Is this causing problem? Let us give a try. Save. Now let us give a try. It doesn't invoke. Okay. And update it won't call, I believe, because we have not selected that in the business rule. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Why? I changed the script include name, but I should have changed the name in business rule as well. Correct? That's the reason. Now, Control C and come to the business rule. System definition, business rule, all subnal validation. See, when we call it over here, still it refers to the old name. That's the reason. Correct. So we should give new name over here. Control T. Okay. Now this is not the only thing. I believe let us type if it is in global scope. Let us specify the scope. Global dot, not like this. Global dot Swapnil prefix validation because my script is in global scope. Okay, let us give a try. Okay, global dot scope. Now business rule done. Base done. What remaining? Okay, script include business rule and then submit. Delete this garbage record. No use. Delete. Okay. Create a new record. Product name. Unit price. Description should start with DESC colon, and then it may contain anything. Some summary. And now if I try to submit, description does not start with a valid prefix. At least we have progressed. Now we have given a call to the script to include. Now that means even if our description is valid, it has a valid string, description does not start with a valid prefix. It is throwing an incorrect error. So now we know there is some problem in the logic that we have written in the script include. So now we are good to debug it. Okay. Now, yeah. If it doesn't match, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extract first 5 characters from the incoming string and then check if it is this. Now let us see. Cool. Where did it go? Our records. Cool. Valid. One more record with invalid string. Give some product, any product. We are not much interested in what is the value. We want to validate it. Now it is not starting with DSC. Now what it should do? Yes. Description doesn't start with a valid prefix. Who didn't understand the flow? Please ask question. This was very important. We saw the whole flow right away. We created right from record creation. We created business rule. In the business rule, we called the script include, that is a library. We called the function that is present inside the library to validate whatever type we type in the description field. It should start with caps DESC colon. If it doesn't start, it won't allow us to save the record. It will throw an error. Otherwise, it will give a success message on the panel. Description has the correct prefix. Who didn't understand this? Please ask question. Vedika, are you good?
Yes.
Okay. Other people, Swapnil, Ashutosh, Lokesh.
Yeah, Pankaj, no questions in the flow, but when you are writing the that script include, there is one checkbox is that line callable. What does it mean?
Yes, we are going to come to that. We are going to see a detailed example after some time.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. Now, This was pure server-side script. Let's take a break of 2 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, then we will proceed with other examples. One more example
Okay.
with, yeah. Yes, I'm back. So, okay, let me check what good example do I have for that checkbox. I'll close these tabs if we are done. Okay, this is okay. New instance, old instance. Okay. Uh, Client scripts. GlideAJAX on cell edit. GlideAJAX is what I am searching for. What is this about? This is a client script. We know what is a client script. This is just the name of the client script created on incident table. Okay, after the box table. Okay, on cell edit, this will trigger. Okay, we know what is on cell edit. Whenever the user tries to edit the record or update the record from the list view, it will be executed. Okay, what does it contain? A function on cell edit. Okay, this is the prototype. Forget it. What we have written, alert about to call. Okay, where GA equal to new glide at demo script include add param. Okay, short description. Get okay, total number of incidents with same description is this. Okay, this is active. Okay, this is active. Let us see if it is active. How does it behave? This will run. This client script will run. For now, forget about script include. Concentrate on this. This is just a simple client script which runs on cell edit. For incident table, when we execute, something happens. What is that something? This something. This is something you never saw in client script, but I will explain each line. Okay. It all starts from here and here. Okay. First, let us see the result, then we will see how it was achieved. I will go to incident table. Okay. Incidents, INCIDENT. Open. Why there are 13? Because our on query business rule is still active. So remind me tomorrow or during the end of the session, we will disable it. If I open, what does it say? On cell edit of which field? Which field is selected? Short description. If we edit it, this one. Let us change the scope. Global. If I write Pankaj like this, does any other incident have Pankaj as description? Let us first check. How to check? Cancel. How to check how many records have Pankaj as short description? Simple. Right click, show matching. There is only one record. Okay, come back. I want to change the short description of this incident 190. I will give same Pankaj. Now if I save this, what happens? About to call means this line executed. Just this line. I have not clicked on OK. This line has executed. Rest of the lines are about to execute. Once I click on OK, these lines will execute. Come back. Total number of incidents with same description is 1. How? Because this is something I just modified. Initially, how many incidents were there with same description? 1. That's the reason. So how did it find this? Client script will never be able to find this because this data is present at server side. So how client script can access server side data? Using GlideAJAX. GlideAJAX is one of the way to access server data, bring server side data to client side and do some kind of validation or processing. What is the other way? Scratchpad, display business rule, get the server side data, store in the scratchpad variable, and then those scratchpad variables are handy, we can use in the client script. That is the other way. That would be useful when there is no heavy lifting. You want to pull some static values every time, store it so that we can do some kind of validation in the client script. Here, can we use that? Why session logout? Okay, for now, let us close this. We don't need this for now. Close, no confusion. Both same instance. What I was saying, how did it get the data from the server, the client script? I have written on-cell edit script. How did it know how many incidents are there with same description in the instance? It gave a call to the script include. Using GlideAJAX, we can give a call to the server from a client script. A client script interacts with server using GlideAJAX. What is this? Global.demo script include. In the global scope, there is a script called demo script include. Let us open it. And now someone asked the question. Let me open it. Now we have three tabs. Yes. Script. System definition scripting. These are ours, but we saw something different. What is it? Demo script include. Enter. I created this sometime back, and someone asked the question about client callable. This is client callable. When during creation of a script include, if I keep that as client callable, that means a client script can call this script include. Otherwise, no. In our previous scripts, go back. All. Did we have that? No. Why? No need. We are calling this script include. We have called it from a business rule, which is a server-side script. So server to server. No need. Was that a client script? No, it was a business rule from where I gave a call to the script include. That's the reason why this was unchecked. So now there is a need for us to call it from the client script because there is a requirement whenever a user changes a short description of any incident from here, either on change, it could be on change, it can be anything, on change, on cell edit. If I change, now it should show 2 because currently 1 and 2 are there. This is the third. This is going to be the third one. Go on to the server. Did you see? There is a difference of few seconds. Again, Pankaj. This time it should show 3. As soon as I click on this alert, and once I click on alert, it will call the server. And then it brought us the answer from the server. There are currently 3 such incidents in the system that have got Pankaj as a short description. Okay. In what scenario this can be helpful? If the agent is updating anything and if gives such error, some alert, at least the agent who is logging the ticket can find out if there is a similar kind of description. Is it a problem, a recurring incident? It has got the similar short description. It may be a problem. Let us check. The agent will open all the incidents, try to analyze, right? And that must could drive him to conclusion that this might be a problem ticket. This is how the scenario is. Now, what we have written over here, how it goes to the server, is what we want to understand. First, this is very simple. On cell edit, when triggered, this alert is very simple. We know how to throw an alert using alert function JavaScript. Then, when we click on OK in this alert, this line executed. Line number 5. What does it say? Create a new GlideAJAX reference. This is how we create. You know, new glide record and the table name. Similarly, new GlideAJAX and the script include name. It will always have the script include name. That means from my client script, from my this client script, I want to invoke this server side script. Open a reference to it using new GlideAJAX function or method. Store the reference in this GA. GA can be anything. This can be Pankaj as well, PKJ, Swapnil, it can be anything. User defined. When the reference is stored, how will you tell ServiceNow that what is the function name you want to use inside that demo script include? By passing this. This is a keyword, sysparam underscore name. It tells the GlideAJAX that I want to invoke get incident function that is present inside this script include. Okay, cool. Then dot add param sysparam underscore short description. Whatever new value, this is on cell edit, correct? On cell edit of description field. So if we want to access the value whatever user has typed in this field, and obviously it will be present in this new value is all readily available to us, correct? Pass this description to this parameter. Pass this new value to this parameter. This can be anything. Short description, long description, whatever sysparam underscore Pankaj, sysparam. Only it should start with sysparam. Remember, this whole is a keyword. Why do we push it? Why do we pass it over here? To tell what function we have to invoke. But now we can pass n number of parameters. pkj1 and in new line pkj2 add param pkj3 n number of variables we can pass. For this scenario, we just have to pass whatever is contained in the short description, and it will be contained in the new value. It's the on-cell edit, right? New value, pass this in this variable. Now execute. No. Now line number 8. Give a call to server. How do we give? GlideAJAX object dot get XML get required incident. What is this? This will give a call to this script includes this function with this parameter. If we are passing one parameter and then give a call to the server and give me the answer in this function. That is this function. It is just present below it. And we call this as a callback function. Interview question. What is a callback function in GlideAJAX? You have to say we write a callback function to retrieve the result from the server. What do we write inside a GlideAJAX function? We write a line called response.response xml. This is a keyword. It will always be returned in answer variable. The server will send the response to the client script in answer variable. We want to read what is present in answer variable. That's the reason we have written this line. Get attribute answer. Whatever is present, store it over here. This can be anything, XX, YY, ZZ. We have the answer over here, and again alert total number of incidents with same description is whatever is sent from the server, the script include. We will display it in the alert. In short, based on client parameters, we pass client parameters, the new value typed in by the user, to the script include. We checked how many such incidents exist with same description. It was passed to the client script, and here We read the answer. But then you will say how when it gives, right? When it calls the script include, what happens? I will tell you what happens. Revisit. Alert about to call. This is just a dummy line I have written. There is no need. Just because I want to show you when we pass on the control to the server. Till here, up till here, we are at the client side. Up till here, we are at the client side. Here also, line number 8 actually calls the script include. The call goes to the server side script. That is the script include. Here we are just setting the parameters. Here we are actually giving the call. But while giving the call, we are telling it, server, whatever you return me in this function which I have defined below. Send me the response in this function. The my callback function is this. Give the response in this function. This function implemented just below. Server gave the response in response object. That's why we are writing response dot. We are parsing this. We are telling give me whatever you have sent in answer attribute so that I can store it in my local variable and then I can do whatever I want. Okay. Now, what does this demo script include contain? It is this. No, not this. Demo script include. Now see carefully, don't get confused. I'll explain it 10 times, but very important to understand the flow. Easy, no rocket science. Script include all remove global client quality. This is how it is. Forget this. This is just I have to print in the log. This is the function. See, now see the flow. Forget about this. Flow. Client script include. Client script include. Start from the client script. Add param. This param underscore name means this is keyword and it tells the function I want to call in this script include is this. I am setting. That's why this function is called and not any other function. We are specifying it which function to call. But how about the parameters? Send short description. Description's new value, store it and send. So when we exactly call, it will retrieve the variable like this. Over there we do add param. Here we do get parameter. Whatever is passed by the client script, retrieve it over here. So now, how does this start? Get incident function called. Okay. Local variable count equal to 0. Create a glide record where REC, it can be anything, equal to new glide record. Open a reference to incident table. We know what is a glide record, right? Open a reference to incident table. This is our out of the box incident table. Okay. Store the reference in REC. Okay. Add a qualification like short description, short underscore description. Add query short underscore description. This dot get parameter passed by the client script. Fetch this parameter and it should match over here. And then query. If we query the matching records, if I have typed Pankaj in all cell edit, It will give whatever number already exists with Pankaj. If there are three incidents, it will have three records. While rs.next, first record found, yes, count equal to count plus 1. Again, go up. rs.next record found, yes, increment the count to 2. Again, go up until this condition fails. If there are no more records sent by the server. So this will contain the result. This will return the result. In which variable? In answer variable. That is taken care of in the backend. It will return count. How this will client script will retrieve this using answer variable. This count, whatever is returned by the script include, will be fetched from the client script using answer variable. This is the keyword. Store that answer in our local answer variable or any other variable and show the result. Total number of incidents with same description is this. This is how it is. So one thing, when I go here, if I do like this, and with include system definition script include, when I do like this, when I give some name, I move away my cursor. The prototype generated is this. This is the prototype generated for server-side script. As soon as I click on this, the prototype will be this, AJAX and all. That makes the difference. The prototype. See, when we saw prefix validation example, string length example, whatever, prefix validation, we gave a call from the business rule. That was server to server. Server-side script trying to execute a server-side script. It was not client callable. But this time I am calling it from a client script based on some event like onSellEdit. That's why it is like this. And that's why if you see our demo script include, it has got this line. See, this is the prototype. We don't have to type anything. It will take care. Or we have to take care of only this. The function ends with a comma and the script include ends with its name. And the script include can also have n number of methods, right? And those n number of methods can be called from client scripts. This is how it is. Now, again, overall flow. The user went to the incident, lot many incident got displayed. The user wants to update the short description from onSellEdit of description field. The user double clicked on the cell, put Pankaj and saved. As soon as the user saved, onSellEdit client script was called for the description field. Description field onSellEdit table name incident. Obviously, it will trigger, but when it was triggered, it threw an alert about to call. About to call what? This is just to add some meaning to it. Actually, this is about to call the script include. It indicates that after this, I will execute the script include. Now, GlideAJAX, take a reference, specify the script include that you want to call. Store its reference over here, but For that script include what function you have to call, how to call this function. I have specified this. Now, seventh line. What parameters do you want to pass to the script include? So for now, only one parameter, this. What that new parameter will contain? Whatever the user has typed in the short description, which is this. Send this Pankaj in short description so that I can retrieve this short description in the script include using get parameter, this dot get parameter. Okay. This is setting the parameter, and inside the script include it is getting the parameter sent by the client. Okay. Now this is how they interact. Now actually give a call to the script include. This will give a call to the script include. And in the same line, it will also tell whatever response the script include will send. It should send in my callback function, which is this. Where is its implementation? This. This line number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This much. This implemented here. And the server said the script include sends the response in this object, response object. This is keyword. And then local variable, this can be XYZ, anything. But this cannot be XYZ. This has to be answer because whatever script include sends will be in terms of answer. Whatever is stored in this, we store it over here and then we can play around with it. After we get the response from the server, we are free to do any kind of validation. We are back to our client script because this function is a part of client script. Now we have got the answer. We can play around with it. Based on it, we can display any kind of error, success, failure, anything. That's the reason why it displays the error. It displays the alert. Total number of incidents with same description is answer, which is this. What does it contain? 3 or 4 or 5 or anything. Correct. This is the overall flow. Who didn't understand the flow? Ask me. I know a kind of heavy dose, but this is how the flow is. One time flow, if you understand, then you can do anything. Fetching data from server, retrieving it into client, and then playing around with it, processing it. Interview question: what are the ways to retrieve server-side data? There are two ways to retrieve server-side data. One is GlideAJAX, which we saw, and one is using display business rule. And in that, we use scratchpad variables to store server-side data. Then we use that data to scratchpad variables in the client script. So there are two ways. Correct. It is like that. Anyone who didn't understand this flow, how it goes to client, how it comes back to client, how it goes to server, from server, how it comes back to client. Anyone who didn't follow, please ask question. Accessible from C. This was global. By default, it was this. What is the meaning of this? Whoever wants to execute this script include should have the client script or whatever it is, client script, also in global scope. Do we have? Yes, but what if the scope was different? If the scope was different, then what would have been the scenario? This would have thrown error. That's the reason we have told it specifically. This is my script include. Any other application scope can also use me I'm telling it specifically over here. I'm script include, and anyone who wants to call from a different scope are allowed. Otherwise, if we don't want, we will keep like this. By doing this, I'm allowing it to be called from any external scope. So today, in our software application, if I write a client script and if I try to invoke this, it will invoke because I have specified that this script include can be accessible from all application scope. But in our software application, we don't have this because this example is related to incident management, which is already in global scope. So it won't make any right meaning call creating a script include or the client script in that scope and then giving a call. We won't have any kind of scenario like that, right? That's the reason. So yeah, this is how it is. Any question, please ask. This was very important.
Pankaj, can you please go to the client script?
Yes.
Yeah. So here we have passed two parameters, right? The add param, first one is sysparam name and
Yes.
another one sysparam short description. So,
Yes.
but in our script include, there is only one parameter that is sys short
Ah,
description. So,
good.
so
Good.
why do we pass that get incident parameter as well?
Okay. Okay. Now, my client script is telling the system, telling the GlideAJAX, this script include. My client script code is telling that in this script include, I want to invoke a function. What function? Get incident function.
Okay, it's a function name. Okay.
That's the thing. Because there can be hundreds of functions in the same script include,
Mhm.
correct? So in this script
Okay.
include, what function you want to call? The client script is specifying to the script include. I want to call your this function. And the parameters are this. Now the parameters can be hundreds, thousand, anything. GA.add param, this param, Pankaj, this param, Java, anything, whatever we want to pass.
So
It
that
can be hundreds.
sysparam name is a keyword or it can be anything.
It's a keyword. This is a keyword. And these following these arguments are not keywords, but they should start with this param underscore. And here it can be pkj1 in a new line. It can be ga.add param pkj param underscore pkj2, anything depending upon the scenario, the number of arguments that we want to pass to the script execution we can say. And how can we retrieve the argument from here? Like get parameter. If I want to store the parameter passed by the client script, instead of putting this directly over here, I could have fetched it like this, where DESC1 equal to this dot get parameter and this line. And then I could have used this DESC1 over here. Add query. This simple. I could have done like this, right? So it's all about that,
Okay.
pulling the value, restored back to the original. Yeah. Now, so having said that, this line keyword, no keyword, but it should always start with sysparam underscore. This part is the keyword. Rest user defined variable, whatever we want. But make sure whatever you write over here while retrieving the variable, you should have used the same description. Otherwise, it will not understand. This server side's code is now executing. It knows I want to fetch this variable from client script. But if this is like misspelled like this, it will give error because it will say it doesn't understand this keyword. It is not present in the client script. It is like that. So they should match. Setting, getting. Using get parameter, fetch it from client script. using set parameter, add parameter, send it to server side script, which is this. Correct? Now any confusion?
No, Pankaj.
Fine. So now tomorrow, what we will see, let me quickly check what we can do for tomorrow. Maybe we will do GlideAJAX done, script include done, script background done. Tomorrow we will see reports and GlideAJAX is also done, right? We did not many things. One important thing, UI action. So we will see what is the UI action. We can put a button on the form, on the banner on the bottom, and on click of that button, we can do certain things. Executing client script, executing server side script. There are a few interview questions on that. I'll tell you how it is, how the flow is. Okay. So for today, we will stop here. So yeah, make sure, see, today is the ninth session, 9 to the 18 hours of service now. That is not less, right? Make sure you go through all the videos. Okay. So then and only then you will be able to follow what we are going to see in the coming session. Okay. So yeah, that's it. If you want the scripts, I can send you in future sessions. Okay. I'll just copy paste all these objects and I'll send it to you in a text file or something. Okay. So yes, friends, see you tomorrow same time and send the recording in the evening. And tomorrow's invite and send it early morning. So don't worry about it. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Pankaj.
Thank you.